What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Tonepedia YouTube channel. My name is Emmanuel.
And I'm Lee, and today we are going to be talking about these three wonderful-ish fuzzes.
Two of which were released just this year.
Yeah, these are really special pedals. This one is basically you cannot buy, not for any sensible amounts of money anyway. This one you still cannot buy, but you will be able to as of I think about January time. I think they're going to be hitting the shops. And
that one you can certainly buy.
Yeah, basically anywhere. If you look down the back of your sofa, there may well be one there right this moment. These you can get on Reverb, but people are charging far too much for them. Wait until the landscape settles and you'll probably be able to get these for sensible money again. These are going to be around €300, £300, something along those lines. And these are, I think I've seen these going for about £30.
Second hand?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know if you can get them new anymore. You might be able to. This one's digital. Mm-hmm. And it's got some great tones in it, but it's very different to these. These are Wazacraft pedals. This one's a tone bender. This is more towards a fuzz face, and this is its own beast.
Yeah.
Well, they're all their own beasts.
However, the FZ-1w is more towards a fuzz face, but it is not a fuzz face reissue, isn't it?
Yeah, no. It's some people have confused it with the FZ-1 Maestro, the Gibson fuzz, which was very famously used on Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, and that kind of kicked off everything. It was like
at that time.
Yeah, Genesis. So without that, we may not be sitting here talking about guitar pedals.
Yes, certainly not about fuzz pedals. All right, so 3 different pedals. All of them do have a similar housing, but I think that's all they have in common. All of them are grey, actually. So I'd say that we just jump on and see what tones we can get out of those.
Yeah, let's go through the tone bender first, shall we?
Why not?
So the tone bender is a take on a very specific tone bender from Solar Sound. It was the first cohort's Waza pedal where Boss teamed up with Solar Sound to create this, and it was the first Waza pedal that wasn't based off of an existing Boss pedal. Mm-hmm. Let's go through some tones. I want to show you the modes. They're quite interesting because whereas most of the mode switches on the Wazacraft pedals switch between something like vintage and modern, or a C1, a C2 sound like on the C2w, this changes the voltage. Mm-hmm. And that's designed to replicate how batteries made the fuzz sound different.
What mode did I just play through?
You were playing on 9. I kept it on 9 on that for you.
9? I heard online. I was playing online. It does have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, the pedal as well.
We're getting a bit meta here because you are. But, yeah, mind blown, man. So, when you first got a new battery, it would make the pedal sound really powerful because the batteries, although they're 9 volt, they would generally be about 12 volts when you first get them. And then before they die off completely, they get down to about 7 volts. Everyone had their own favourite kind of stage for this. And when they got down to about 7 volts, they kind of had this more spluttery sound. But when they were about 12 volts, it would be really powerful, a bit more like your Sabbath to your Hendrix and these sort of things.
So it must have been a horrible job to be the guitar tech for, I don't know, Jimmy Page, if he would be into 7 volt. Prepare all the batteries to be 7 volt, all right? And if it's...
Yeah,
like back in the 70s or whatever,
just leave them in the device and you keep going along with a multimeter. So God, I didn't think of that. That was be a really sucky job. Let's have a listen. We'll find let's put it at 12. And we'll hear the difference. We'll start off at the 7, and then as we go up, what you'll hear is the volume jump up, but also because the output of this is jumping up, it's pushing the amp, so the amp will react differently as it gets more power.
Is it still a fuzz? Like, that's almost jazz-like. No, but like, how low does the gain get just by using the volume knob? That is incredible.
I don't know. Let's whack it all the way up and see how much you can control it. I'll put it on the 12 volts as well. Give it a hardest job.
Totally do that. Like, this is almost like that type of tone, you know, where you can shred and all that, but you also got to pick softer, like it reacts intensively to the picking.
Turn the volume all the way off and then just turn it on just a tiny little bit.
This is like this clean almost. Like.
Hey, I'll play it.
If you're going hard, then let's go. If you're going soft, you can also.
There's some Jimmy Page going on there. It really is.
Well, that's didn't expect the pedal to be that dynamic.
Yeah. So that's dynamic. This takes the dynamics to another level.
What do you bet?
Yeah, this you can still hear that it's like it's trying to.
The hiss is there, right?
Yeah, it's really we really gave it a hard job. It's on 12 volts, it's on max, but if we turn the fuzz all the way up on this, this has been designed to clean up in a really sort of like mental way. Let's put it on vintage because obviously like this is vintage as well. So. So if you just turn it on just the tiniest little bit, how much does it clean up?
The amp is louder than the actual signal, isn't it? Like turn. Yeah, exactly. Like, but without the pedal, there would be no amp signal at all.
Yeah, for sure. And it's worth saying that, you know, we make these interactive demos of all the pedals and they're all like real recordings. Well, when Boss wanted us to do the FZ-1, they asked us very kindly to add the feature of being able to turn down the guitar on dynamic playing style. So when you go onto Tonepedia and you try the FZ-1w, you can adjust the guitar and hear how it reacts. It's really, really clever. It's a great way of doing it. I can't wait to see what people think of this in the comments because it's so cool.
That was a vintage mode, right?
That was vintage mode. You want to try the modern mode?
Do I look like a vintage guy?
Can I hear it? Yeah, well, vintage 1980s maybe. Can we try the just turning it up a little bit in modern mode as well, just with the same settings, and then we can mess around?
Of course we can. That is like, it's hard to believe that it's the same pedal.
Yeah. Do you know what's I find really strange about it is, yes, they're very, very, very different sounds, but they're so obviously the same pedal as well. I struggle to get it through my head that they are so different but so the same as well. And all they've really done is they've pushed the mids up. So on the vintage mode, I'll show you. Just play a chord. So at that point, the bass goes up. The mid stays here and the bass goes up, yeah? Mm-hmm. And then when I turn it up the other way, the mid will stay here and the treble will go up. Yeah, it's a bit harsh.
Yes.
Right, now when I put it onto modern, the mids go up at the same time. So the mid and the bass, the mid and the treble.
That's more of a classic tone knob, isn't it, on the modern mode? Like that's how it works on most devices.
Not on the vintage stuff. It's so different. The tone stacking different pedals is quite often what makes a pedal. And when you talk to a lot of pedal builders, something they often say is, "Oh, I'm working on the tone stack for this sort of thing." And you're thinking, "Oh, I just want to know about the gain."
Yeah.
But the tone stack and the way that you got all these different types, you've got like band axle and all these different types of tone stacks are really, really way beyond me. Mm-hmm. I know
so
more
in non-technical terms, without tone stacks and all of that, just like from a player's perspective, and that is why I also played these like minor 7 chords and all of that when we tried the modern mode with the turned down volume, is because the vintage mode felt like it would be like it could be one sound to gig with, you know, like if you want to have a lead sound, you turn it up all the way. If you want to have a rhythm sound, you like, put the volume on 50%, and then if you want to have a clean tone, you can also do it. Now the is it on the modern mode now?
Yeah,
because on the modern mode it almost feels like you could do like it's a rockin' sound, like a hard rockin' sound, you know.
You got to remember, people who play music like you and I do tend to steer away from fuzzes because they get lost in the mix. So if it's just you and your drummer isn't playing too much China, then you're going to be able to cut through with a fuzz, especially if you turn it up loud. But it's like trying to get that Metallica sound. If you're trying to do scooped mids, you've got to turn up really, really loud. And the same is true for a fuzz. So on the modern mode, where it's really pushing those mids, it's going to work so much more. It's going to sit in a mix much, much nicer. So look, that's the FZ-1. Now, like we said, you can't buy these. You will be able to buy these, but you can definitely buy these quite easy. Let's see what it can do.
Sure. Rangers.
It's a very different beast, isn't it?
It's a wild animal to tame.
So you got the 3 modes on there, and they are vastly different. Some of those tones you would have heard just then, you will be listening and thinking, why would anyone want that? And outside of a mix, they are going to sound gross. But in a mix, if you've got a decent bass player keeping up with you and these sort of things, they've got their roots in sort of like alternative metal from like the early 2000s and these sort of things. And it will, it'll work nicely. Or you can get those sort of broken Jack White sort of tones. And, because he takes anything that kind of sounds not great to most people and makes it sound amazing. And that's, sticks and delay on that. And you've got some wicked tones.
Yes, I would agree in some points. It's like certainly a versatile pedal through these 3 modes, but they all sound like one mode. I even had it felt like it wouldn't be a fuzz, like be somewhere between overdrive and distortion.
Yeah,
I think it was a 3rd mode.
Yeah, it's O, so I'm guessing that stands for overdrive.
So it's very hard to characterize it, to say this is how this pedal sounds. You can use it for that and that stuff because it's there's so many sounds in that, which I don't know if I shall like it or not.
Yeah, it's kind of sitting in a very precarious situation because it's up against this and this.
Yeah, the competition is high here, right?
Exactly. It's like me against Olympians.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You would clearly win.
Absolutely. If someone had £30 they could buy me. It's a useful pedal if you're trying to find out whether you like fuzz and you want to get into things. You don't want to drop like £300 or 300 euros, whatever, on one of these when they come out. Then you can go and get one of these to find out. However, if you are a fuzz connoisseur, you're probably going to have got one of these. But if you didn't manage to get one of these, this is good. They are different though. They're all very, very different.
I think it's also about what kind of player you are in general. Because, for example, I had the feeling that with the tone bender, except for these voltage modes, it's pretty much sounding very good in any setting that you have, but it's always also sounding very similar. While with the FZ-1w, you can make it sound totally different. As I said, both of these modes sound actually like 2 different pedals. I think the FZ-5 is also that kind of for these type of players. So if you like to, because it's not a bad pedal at all means. If you like to spend some time with it to get some great tones out of it, if you like to have a pedal that can do more than one thing, then that is certainly something that might be very interesting for you. However, if you want to have a very natural, great sounding tone bender tone, then
Yeah,
the answer is obvious. You should go to this place because somewhere here above Lee's head, there's going to be a link that will lead you to www.tumpia.com, which is a great website, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, it's great. We really very much love it because and that's why we put our hearts and souls into the work behind it. And all of these free pedals, you can just go and compare them for yourselves. Now, what we want to see is, do you think we were talking rubbish? Of course we were, but about the pedals. And do you agree with us, or are you a particular fan of the FZ-5? Which one would you have, and why?
Yes. And I think that Tonepedia is, for most human beings on this planet, the only opportunity to get to experience the TB-2w interactively. If you don't want to just watch a video where someone plays the pedal, if you want to use it yourself, then Tonepedia is very accessible.
And at this moment, it's definitely the only place you can try one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in.
Boy.
Like, comment, subscribe, press every button that you see here, except for the dislike button.
But there'll be like more than one video, so if they press them all, they might go back in time or something.
You know what I mean. Like, don't go back in time. Stay here. Have a great time with us, with Tonepedia, and yeah, hopefully see you in the next video.
Nice one. See you later. Bye.
Bye. This voicing is very distinctive. You can. Why? Why would someone make noise when we're in the middle of a video shooting?
You are likely to...
One second. Like, why don't you close the door when you're making noises?
I think Ilias is still in here, isn't he?